how unique Pyra is compared to everybody else that's on this location because of the fact that she's a young elfin girl with red hair and red eyes. She's wearing black dragon scale mail. She has a warhammer on her back that's pulsing with radiant light.
She definitely tracks one's attention.
And here she is walking with everybody else, including an Amakir, through the Temple District, and the Temple District has Vandria, who is the elven patron saint of Warhammers.
Well, I've never written that in, but I'll have to look at that. I don't know where that came from.
Wikipedia elf deities. She's one of the daughters of Corlon.
Yeah, that's not. We haven't.
Yeah, it's not canon with you guys. I was just looking at the Wikipedia for it, and I was like, that's kind of a neat connection.
Yeah, well, she's definitely attracting attention. People don't seem afraid. No one is giving you dirty looks. Most people are trying to sort of politely, look at you, but not make you feel uncomfortable. They're mostly just amused. Seems like they don't get a lot of outsiders, so people are just sort of interested.
Yeah, this is Pyra. She wouldn't be worried if people were staring at her anyway.
Oceanus, on the other hand, is very concerned people are staring at him. He's looking straight at Tessa, not looking around at all.
Yeah.
Tara is saying hello and greeting everyone she meets.
So is Pyra.
Yeah, most people are very friendly. People walk up to you. Somebody walks up to you with a basket of small, dark purple berries and offers you some, welcomes you to the valley in very broken Common. They don't speak Common very well. They're clearly trying. And and they offer you some of the berries.
Tara will ask Tasser, what are these?
Oh, they're a local specialty. They're see, what am I going to call them? I thought I had a name for them already, but apparently I did not. So, give me 2 seconds and I'll give them a name.
Pyra would warmly thank the person that's offering the gift in Sylvan.
Oh, they appreciate that. They do speak with you in Sylvan. Apparently that is something that is known. What the heck? My site suddenly decided not to load.
Oceanus, face neutral, just bows politely and takes one.
Okay, it's...
I'm curious, does anyone here speak Primordial?
No.
Okay. You'll just hear Oceanus say something, and you won't understand what he says.
It's called a Piog berry. You'll recognize this as the Sylvan name for purple. They're sweet, but they're very tart. Sort of a lemony. They sort of they taste like a cross between a lemon and a blueberry. And they're quite nice. They sort of stain your fingers purple a little bit when you pick them up and eat them.
Pyra would make a note because she would like to buy some before they head back home.
Oh yeah, you see, they're pretty common. Kind of, they grow pretty easily here. So, Tassar will ask you if you want to come with him to the High Temple, or do you want to just explore on your own?
Tara would very much like to see the High Temple. Just a couple of other questions, if that's all right, Madfish.
Yeah.
You mentioned guards before. What kind of style are the guards dressed in, armor wise? What do they carry weapon wise? If you know what I mean.
They wear leather armor, mostly. They wear it's all dyed the same sort of midnight blue. They all have the patch, the little gem flower patch. Some of them have additional patches as well. Some of them have a patch with a picture of a mountain. And where I actually wrote a bunch of stuff down. Where did I put that? Okay. Yeah, so some of them have a patch with a little mountain on them. And Tassar will explain there are sort of 3 types of guards. There's the Valern, which are the usual guards. They keep the peace in the neighborhood mostly. It's a fairly peaceful place. The guards locals are, I mean, there's rarely serious crime. Mostly they deal with small disputes. The ones with the mountain patch on them are called the Aegis. I'll write that down for you. They are a member of what Tassar was a member of, which is the search and rescue team. People venture out into the mountains for a variety of reasons. There are settlements in the mountains, there are resources in the mountains, there are villages out there somewhere. So often people will get lost. The weather can change very, very quickly in the mountains. So if you're unprepared or just unlucky, bad things can happen. So they have a sort of separate group of guards whose job it is to go out into the mountains and help people out, help them if they get lost. And then there's the elite guard the Amakirs and the other officials. Some of them get to travel outside of the valley, so they're the most sort of adventurous types who like to leave.
I have one question that I just remembered.
Yeah?
Oceanus asks, is there a monastery in the city?
Not in the city, but there are many. There's a small monastery in the city within the temples here, but most of the monasteries are up in the mountains. The one that Tennant trained in is in the south area, sort of closer between the market district and the gate, up in the mountains. That's where he trained. Because the mountains are it's very easy to keep them remote. That appeals to a monastery.
I'll have to visit the one here before we go.
Yeah, it's a couple days travel to get there.
No, I mean, I'm at the one in the...
Oh, in the district, yeah. There's a small one. Yeah, so Tassar will give you directions to it if you want to go and see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll say he'll meet you at the...
In the main... Yeah.
Hangar.
Okay. All right. He will give you directions, and so you can go off. And he said, feel free to ask anyone for help. They'll help you. People are friendly.
This is the temple directions. Hopefully someone speaks Celestial.
Hopefully. Yeah. Not speaking Elven here is a bit of a drawback. Because that's what you hear being spoken everywhere all around you. So Tassar will take you up into the High Temple. As you approach, you notice there are people in it must be some kind of uniform, looks like, and you assume that they're students. They appear to be carrying books and studying. Tassar will explain that the temples also run schools. So there are a lot of students in the area. Some of them studying to be clerics or priests. Some of them simply studying. We have extensive and ancient libraries here. So there's things you want to know. This is the place. He walks you up into the main temple, and as you step inside, it's very impressive. Every part of the temple as you step inside is covered in patterns. If you've ever seen those Turkish mosques where it's a mosaics of patterns, just bright and colorful, just patterns and designs on everything. This building looks very old, and it looks very well kept. If a very perceptive person will be able to notice where parts of the mosaic have been replaced, redone. The dome lets in just a beautiful view of the sky above. You imagine that at night you would be able to see all kinds of stars. And on the floor under the dome is a mosaic of the night sky with constellations laid out. The various paths of the moon, the stars. Clearly this is something very important to them. There's a very large statue of Angharad, where in her combined form, so she has symbols of all three of her aspects. The wings, the golden circlet, and the sword. And she has like a crown of stars on her head. And you can see the other two domes. Before the very large statue, there's another statue of her aspect as Seheni Moonbo, the moon goddess. And then on either side, the other two domes are before similar statues of her other two aspects as the Airdrie Fania, the goddess of storms and wind, and Hanali Selenil, the goddess of love and beauty. There's definitely beauty in this place that was very well thought out, very intended to be impressive and beautiful. Tassar and Rania meet with some of the clerics who are wearing the pretty, really impressive ceremonial clothing, which is just beautiful. And Tassar excuses himself. Him and Renia go off to meet with the high priest, but he makes sure that there's a priest who can translate for you, left behind with you, and you guys can have a look around.
Fortunately, Pyra can speak Elvish and Sylvan, so she's able.
Oh yeah, she's not having any trouble.
I was going to ask about the different rites and customs that they perform here, and that sort of thing.
Oh, this temple is used for everything. They teach people here. They perform weddings, funerals, blessings of any kind. There are all kinds of the temple is a busy place. It's seems to be pretty popular. Meeting place, learning place. They have libraries for research. They track family trees. So when people are born or adopted, they come and register at the temple. So they have entire thousands of years of family trees tracked in the books in the temple. I think we will go back to the other group. What those two are doing, what trouble Ace is getting himself into now.
Yeah, Ace. What trouble are you in now?
Being dragged away.
I didn't do anything, I swear.
Would it be fair to main focus on these people?
Sorry?
Oh, sorry. I was just going to ask, would it be fair to say that what Tara has seen, that Agdora would be the main focus of this people as a society, like their
Oh yeah.
society? Okay.
She's definitely the main goddess here. But you did see temples to all of the, and they're all, fairly large. Definitely dwarfed by the massive temple. But they're all also large and impressive, and quite busy as well.
Thank you.
So, what are Ace and Tyven up to?
Well, I am looking for her family or her
Okay.
in the district. Doing my best
Okay.
with Common and Celestial.
Yeah,
To find Alarix.
you're not getting a lot of celestial speakers in the residential area.
Yeah.
You do get the odd one, mostly merchants who've learned Common, but you're sort of average person who works
Yeah,
in
I'm gonna try
farmland
and
and that sort of thing,
Common.
speaks pretty much exclusively Elven. So yeah, you do with some amusing confusion
Of course.
of language. You do.
know Ace would have followed him and he can speak Elvish.
Yeah, that'll help.
That'll help a lot.
So you can give me an investigation. Well, you.
Oh, I'm so good at this. Check retweets.
Or maybe persuasion, if you want
have
to.
Sure.
advantage. Retweets have gotten that high.
Yes, we do. Everyone has an advantage.
Well, there you go.
I'm going to use persuasion since you gave me
Okay.
the option,
Ace
and I'm not terrible.
can Ace use investigation?
Yes. If Ace is actually helping him look for this person.
Yeah, he would.
And I'm not going to use my advantage here because I'm thinking
Okay.
if she's scared, I should save it for then. Oh! Oh! If not, and guess what? If I leveled up, I would have expertise. Purple dragon.
You
Should Ace even investigate?
well, it depends on what he's looking for.
I'm looking for either towards her family or towards her. Like I'm just trying to see who might know something, and I'm explaining it that we're trying to help her. We're not for anything else. This is merely for her safety.
Okay.
And you gave the description of this said
Yes,
girl
I
to
used-
Ace, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
if we didn't get hauled off to the loony bin, then I'm accepting Ace's help.
Not
I'm
yet.
I'm currently waiting for like a sudden tackle from nowhere.
Yeah, I am
I
too.
walk past an alleyway and
Yeah.
Ned comes out.
Team
and
Net
gets dragged off.
represents.
Team Net arrives and nets you. But if you're a perceptive person, you would notice that all of the guards seem to have been alerted to the problem with Ace, and are definitely tracking him. They're definitely keeping an eye on him.
I'd like to cast Pass Without Trace and start running around. No.
They're trying to track you. You meet. Whoops. You meet someone who lets you know that they are Sheila's friend. Her name is Kyan Dobe. She admits to being Sheila's friend. She understands where you're coming from. She explains that what happened was Sheila was dating this guy, and he started to get a little uncool. And oh wait, I have to do it because you yelled at me.
I did.
So she's like, so Sheila was like dating this guy, and he was like not cool. He was like a total dweeb. So she was like, bye. And he was like, whatever, I'm gonna break into your parents' house and like take all their stuff. And she's like, no. And the guy's like, yeah. And so he did. And then he's like, if you like tell anybody, I'm gonna like murder you. And we were all like, whatever. You totally won't murder her. But it's like, it's super not cool to like rob somebody's house and then like tell them you're gonna murder them. So we totally want this guy to like go away.
So,
But she's too scared.
so Ace is looking at this one, and she's talking like that in Elvish. And he's
Yeah.
nodding, and he's nodding, and he's nodding, and then he looks to his current partner, who's been demoted to intern, and unpaid intern, mind you, and stares at him and goes, "I think she's speaking abyssal or something evil. I have no idea what she just said."
He just looks to her. Do you know where she is?
She's like sighs. You got a nat 20, so she's like, yeah, I know where she is, but you'll have to like talk to her and make her come down because she won't like leave.
Is she on the water tower? Is she hiding out at the water tower?
No.
Where is she hiding out?
She leads you back inside a house. You notice that none of the houses are built terribly high, and a lot of them are built sort of into the ground, so they're sort of half underground, because this helps keep the heat in, or the geothermal heating sort of deal in the winter. But there's a few of them that are a couple of stories high. They go up. So she leads you into a house. It's not too shabby kind of house, middle class sort of place. And she leads you all the way up to the attic, where she knocks on the door, and you see a fairly young-looking moon elf. She's clearly been crying, and she's hiding in the attic.
And he looks, Sheila?
She nods, but she looks terrified because you're a complete stranger.
He just kind of sits down in the doorway, completely non-threatening, and my name's Tywin.
She speaks common, actually, and she replies to you. Fairly accented common. It's like, what do you want?
I heard about what happened. Your family was robbed, and that you've been threatened if you talk.
Yeah.
The guards are looking for you. And
I know, but
he goes, and that means that word has gotten out. Which means if he is even semi-serious, he may make a move. You have me, and you have probably someone crazier than him, and he looks to Ace. willing to bring you, and they told
Ace
us
is doing a
the
handstand.
temple. They told us the temple of Angrad would take her in, right?
it was the Temple of the Undying Court.
Oh, Temple of the Undying Court. Okay.
Yeah.
The
They're,
Temple of the Undying
the
Court
judges.
will protect you. The guards will protect you, and when he goes away, then you and your family have nothing to fear anymore.
I think you have to give her another persuasion.
I'd like to use my advantage.
Okay.
16.
Okay. I'll roll a d20 and see. Oh, yeah!
Oh yeah!
Well, that was the easiest thing ever for you, apparently. she seems convinced. You've convinced her friend, who she seems to trust quite a bit, that you'll help. She seems to believe you, so she kind of cleans herself up, and her friend promises to come along with her.
He makes sure that she grabs anything she might need, just in case they can't get a guard out to get anything she might need first.
Yeah, so her friend helps her pack, and they get all their stuff.
As you're packing, Ace looks at her and goes, "So, this boy, what's his name?"
His name is Ramen.
Sorry, I was thinking of ramen noodles.
I know.
Yeah. Same.
It's spelled differently,
I know, but still.
I thought you said Roman.
What's he
Can we
look
get
like?
that name?
Hang on, I'm typing it.
Because I may have given him a evil nickname now.
A what?
I may have given him an evil nickname. It's going in my notes. But I want to get the spelling right. Ramen
Marta Taja.
in the middle. So the middle of the nickname, the gangster nickname, Noodles.
Yeah. Noodles.
Ramen.
That's his new name.
So,
Yeah.
Ace is gonna look at her. Where does he typically hang out?
He was one of the workers in the farmlands. So
Asks for a description.
yeah, they describe him. He's
Because Ace doesn't know what I can do yet.
he is a bad noodle. He's a very bad noodle.
Ace looks at his. I can't demote him any further than his new unemployed side.
The unpaid. You don't get much lower than unpaid intern. So
Yeah. It says, what languages do you speak?
Common and Celestial.
Yeah. Don't think Ace is Celestial. No, he doesn't. He's just gonna stand there and stare at him for a bit and then goes, I think, we might help the guards out a little bit more, don't you?
He looks back and says, let's get her to safety, and then I think we should pay him a visit. To make sure that he never threatens these poor women again.
she explains that a lot of the workers that do the sort of day laboring, in the area, they do tend to be a little rough, and they do tend to kind of close ranks.
Mm-hmm. He's not
So-
afraid.
Yeah.
No,
They're,
he's not going to throw a single punch. Trust me. But he will
So-
absolutely terrify the man.
This is, but you see, she explains that this is what makes her nervous. She's
Yes,
afraid that,
his dad is Mr. Noodle.
yeah, the noodle. So, she'll come with you guys. She wraps, both her and her friend, wrap scarves around their heads. So that,
Is his mom Mama Noodle?
mom. Yes. So you guys can make it to the Temple District. I need to have a really quick bio break. I will be right back. So you guys can decide how you get there. You can rickshaw, you can walk.
We'll probably rickshaw if she has a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, you'll find her.
Ace will stand up in the rickshaw, pointing dramatically forward and forwards,
Chop chop.
So being Ace.
Yeah. You do know Ace is going to. You may not have brought weapons. Ace did.
I don't need weapons. Abby,
Ace
Abby, hold on.
Ace is-
I'm going to send you a DM because I don't want to ruin it for anyone.
Okay.
And I'm going to copy you some text. Just give me 1 second, Ace. Just gotta find the entry for this. So how's everyone else doing? Stream?
Doing good so far.
I'm just waiting for the straight jacket to be put on Ace.
It's
I-
just a
I-
concave jacket.
I imagine him, doing his little Napoleonic thing with his hand in his breast pocket, and he's standing on the rickshaw, pointing around.
Cross-eyed.
Yep.
See what I'm talking about, Ace?
Okay.
I don't need.
By the way,
I don't need.
two things will happen if Ace gets a straight jacket. One, if people try to put it on him, it's not going to end well. I'm just giving you a heads up now.
That's where we're going to be sitting there watching and shaking. Staying
Yeah.
Two, an entire city might burn down. I'm just saying, no one puts Ace in the corner.
Uh-huh.
That's why the padded cell is round.
Yeah. There's no
Oh,
corner.
you knew that.
Another thing you guys will notice as you're traveling and looking around, there are a lot of wizards here. There's a lot of magic. You see a lot of people using magic quite openly. Most of it, I don't think any of you are spellcasters. Specifically,
I mean,
arcane.
there's no arcane spellcast. I don't think.
Yeah, so you wouldn't. I mean, it is largely transmutation magic, but you wouldn't. Most people are using it just sort of to help them out, help them do common tasks. You see a lot of self-animated objects, plows that pull themselves, or a lot of the plows in the farmlands are built much like the rickshaws, where they're sort of larger, cover more area than one person should be able to pull. So, it's all just kind of enhancements to assist them in their work. And as Oceanus is directed to the monastery, he's sent into one of these covered tunnels, and he actually takes an underground path. He feels like he's walking upwards towards the mountain a little bit. And he notices that there's the lights that light the tunnel are just soft glow. They're not fire; they're arcane. And all of these tunnels look very old. Everything, pretty much, looks extremely old in this place. There's definitely a really long and deep history in this place, and it looks like not pretty much, a lot of the old buildings have just been kept up to this day. They're still being used. There doesn't seem to have been major destruction in this area that you're aware of. So yeah, Oceanus is led through this tunnel. He comes out in a room where he is greeted by some monks who all wear fairly simple clothing in shades of gray and blue. They wear the symbol of Sahanine Moonbow, and they greet you very respectfully. They welcome you. How can we help you?
I was just. Are they speaking common or?
Well, we'll speak to you in Elven first, because that's
Yeah.
the common language. If they see that you don't understand them, they'll find someone who speaks common and get a translator.
He'll see if they speak Celestial at first, because that's at least in his monastery, everyone was taught Celestial, so that's why he.
I will decide. Let's see if one of them speaks Celestial or not. On a pick heads or tails.
Me or you?
You.
Tails.
Okay. They do. Somebody speaks Celestial. There you go. You have a monk that speaks Celestial.
He'll-
So, yeah.
And he'll say he didn't wish to disturb their meditations. He was just a visitor in this city, and when he heard that there was a monastery,
Mhm.
and he just wanted to see it for himself, having lived in one mode all of his life.
Oh, okay. Well, they'll be very respectful to you because you're, also a monk. They'll ask you a lot of questions about where you came from, and they will ask if you'd like a tour.
He'll nod a yes. And what? I'll ask him what discipline is taught here.
We are focused mostly on exploring the mystical. We ponder the great mysteries of the universe. We track the stars and the movement of all the celestial bodies. We do practice some self-defense. Mostly our focus is to keep our bodies in shape that we may continue to serve the goddess in our peak health. You get the impression they're not focused as much on the sort of physical aspect. As you tour, you see people doing more sort of Tai Chi, yoga type practices. So more for personal health and maintenance of their bodies as opposed to fighting. They don't really have much need to fight. But there are monasteries, most of them the ones up in the mountains, that are focused more on physical self-defense. And they give you a nice tour. The monastery is sort of it's like right up on the face of the mountains. Where the mountains sort of touch the valley, it's fairly sheer. There's not a lot of places where you can. There's almost like a wall of sort of flat, fairly flat rocks, which of course the goats can negotiate. You see goats just running up and down the mountains everywhere. On these tiny little ledges, just hopping around. This monastery in particular is sort of right in the mountains, so part of it is inside in the cave system, parts of it are outside, and he brings you up a fairly tall tower. You climb and, as you are talking, he brings you up to a viewing tower, and you get up there, and it's just sort of angled in such a way, the sort of rock kind of juts out in such a way that you get a really incredible view of the sky from this angle. Whereas, when you're down in the valley, the closer you are to the lake, of course, the less of the sky you can see because the mountains around you are quite tall. So this particular angles is just perfect for viewing the sky, and he explains that this is where they track the stars. Obviously, you can't; it's still daytime, so you don't see that. But they've maintained this area, and they've been tracking the movement of the stars and the moon and the sun. You can see murals painted up the side of various events, when a comet has gone by or different constellations and that sort of thing. A lot of the paintings look quite ancient.
This is beyond fascinating. I never thought much of the stars. Usually, our focus was more on the elements of the. How should I put it? Not the elements of Earth, but
Mhm.
elements of
The various, focusing
home.
your understanding in the various elements. They explain they do track the weather as well, trying to find patterns and predict seasons, predict long winters or whatever, which is quite important to them. So they have a fairly elaborate collection of books and knowledge in terms of the sky and the movement of the stars and everything, because then, she is the moon goddess. She is also the goddess who brings the souls of the dead to the Undying Court for judgment. And the elves believe that when an elf dies and has been judged to have lived a good life according to the tenets of the Undying Court, that they join the stars. They become one. And the brighter stars are, of course, more notable people who've had more of an impact on the world. And the smaller, dimmer stars are people who had an impact on perhaps, no less important, but perhaps smaller sphere of influence. The void between the stars is where those who have been judged unworthy are sort of doomed to float alone the void. And so they have a sort of shows you some of the scrolls where they've tracked them, and you see, they have just ancient works that are, rewritten, recopied, maintained. He shows you some of the older versus the newer and the differences, and in the constellations and that sort of thing. But he says, they focus mostly on. You see a lot of people in this monastery look like they're just sitting, not really doing anything. They're sort of taking a pose and just sitting and meditating.
Okay, that's like they're meditating.
Yeah. They explains that they contemplate the great mysteries of existence. That is their main focus. Mysticism and understanding the dreams and visions that the moon goddess will send. They have a vision rituals, that sort of thing.
You've certainly showed and told me about many interesting things. I leave more enlightened than I came. Thank you.
Well, thank you. We rarely get visitors from other monasteries here. We are very grateful. And you are welcome back at any time. Shake your hand and bow to you.
And then you'll leave. And you'll head back. He'll try to find a temple to open high before he even goes to Angar.
Okay, they'll give you directions if you ask.
Yeah.
Here's the name. That's the name of the head monk. I'm gonna have to write a bunch of these names down afterwards. Remind me. So that's the guy that you met, who, asked you a bunch of questions about your monastery as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they're quite interested, and they'll give you directions to the Obadhai temple. So you go back through the tunnels and find your way. So we'll go back to Pyrrha and Tara. What are you guys gonna do?
Tara is going to be asking about the different aspects of Aindaral, especially the first aspect, Adri Feda. Do you want to ask about exactly what these aspects exactly represent, and what is the I suppose are there certain sections of the society that worship one aspect over the others, or just general questions like that, trying to get more knowledge.
The Moon Elves do specifically most often worship Sehanine Moonbow. Angharad was at one point one goddess. Then she was betrayed by Lolth, and the original there were a type of elves called the Averial. They were said to have the power of flight. They were completely wiped out by the Drow and Lolth, who betrayed Angharad and killed every one of them. There is not a single Averial left. This betrayal was so severe that it broke Angharad. She broke apart in three. She was helped and saved by her friends who were Corellin, the other elven god. He is the god of magic and beauty and music. He helped to heal her, as well as the dwarven goddess Baranar Truesilver, who helped to bind Angharad's broken heart and help her to heal. When she was healed, the gods helped to lock Lolth away and push the Drow underground to keep them from ever committing such a terrible act again. And Angharad remains split into the three, but it is said she can come together in a time of great need. But her three aspects sort of focus on different areas. Aspect of Airdrie is their way of remembering the Averial, which is why she is always portrayed as having wings, usually in the air, or you notice most of the statues of her are, her either flying or there's, she's always sort of seen as almost always portrayed as in flight. She's